put it. They are slowly improving, better and better, and their game versus Paprex showed they could weather the storm. Well, they've got slightly different weather conditions as we kick off on Icebox, and that's not the greatest start with Chi-Chu already going down.
Yeah, losing out on their Killjoy. A lot of space behind them is now wide open for GENG to take. So they've got to be a little quicker or move back towards the site, make this a brief site take. Instead, it's going to be much faster as they look to fight on the site. Meteor good for one at least, keeping numbers in favor, but Haodong, this man was impressive, able to constantly get behind enemies, but this time, he's taking them head on. 3 kills already, and EDG are back in the round. A 4th just around the corner with Munchkin so desperately low, but Haodong falls. Texture putting up one hell of a fight. Connections, another with the headshot on Smoggy, and nobody, 68 HP. Texture's gonna find it hard to get him dropped with 2 bullets left. He needs to be precise, and he has no idea where nobody has snuck off to. Texture creates some space to pop the reload, back to 6 bullets. A bit more spam ability, and he's right in the corner! Only 1 shot! And he needed both to land. That is 1-0 for EDG.
Yeah, a real back and forth in the initial pistol, and already seeing a little bit of what this man Texture can do with the Sheriff. Definitely fearsome opposition. But I do like this, sort of a slightly more direct approach initially from that side of EDG, just looking to take their way straight in towards the side, and even Texture can bail them out of this one. Of course, just looking at this map in general, we've already seen the actually very, very good attack sides coming out of the side of GENG. So they're starting on the weaker half, and for EDG, they really struggled, but we've only seen them play it versus FPS.
Like, we're back, we got to see actually pretty cool over the shoulder of them just testing it there at the end. Mouse is back online, game's running smooth, and so the game is running right back into things with EDG 1-0 up. As we can see, Concon didn't decide to take the Outlaw. He's gone instead for the Guardian. Different uses, different ideas. This attack side, nice and slow, little bit of A control. They had the recon go up, but it was contested by the side of GENG. They refocused and they look towards the B site. Drone clearing out a ton, and a Viper wall that they can easily push towards the site with. You don't imagine GENG will be playing ahead of that with their pistols.
Normally in these sort of rounds, you expect GENG to, like, they'll have utility to deny these plants. Like, you're talking about Nano Swarms, Snake Bites, you're talking about the Mosh, Fragments. But this is a low-buy round, so they haven't used any of that. So it gives a lot easier access, because that's always one of the things we talk about with this sort of composition being run by EDG. They have to take a lot more control to get that plant down. In this sort of round, though, just a farming exercise, a chance for Concon to really build up those orbs. You know what, Meat? He's still going to get a couple. Still makes it a little bit costly.
Trying to see if we're going to have Chi-Chu pick up a weapon. He did make it just about. So 3 rifles carried forward for EDG altogether. Decently successful round, and I think the main thing being that Concon finds so many kills and the death, this might be able to cancel out some of the economic disadvantages that could be coming after this round. For now, they'll play it as a bonus with some pistols, and he's, ooh, Concon's 3 away from the Blade Storm.
Yeah.
Again, he might be baiting me, but as we get back in, you see a scope in his hand. The weapon dropped over, Tom. We're gonna get it. Let's see what he can do. Attack side Outlaw on this man.
He has to get kills here because he basically needs the Blade Storm for the next round. Okay, Chi-Chu does actually have extra credits, so maybe they could drop an extra one, but it will leave them with some gaps going into the next. Obviously, again, the real benefits of their composition is being able to execute onto that A site. But yeah, it also Concon just himself.
This is the thing, you've got Karen and Lakia both now terrified because they've got half shields. So that Outlaw rings out and you realize we're in a bit of trouble. I wonder if even an element of that is looking at previous iceboxes and seeing this wasn't a preferred weapon. With Concon down, that rifle can still be retrieved and used later on. And really, you got to think about damage. You got to think about the game damage. That's the name of the game here.
Either way, we are going to see them building up back towards this A site again. Nice work from Haodong to at least be able to find one. And in this 2v4 situation, it is not looking good. It is not looking good. Really needs to get something. Really needs to get something here. And now Karen is the only one remaining. And 1 versus 3. Try and turn this. They planted in an audacious spot. I guess expecting him to come around on the flank. This man has been a real showstopper when it comes to GENG's success, and he might be able to get a second player planting. Definitely got a little bit tight for a second there. to try and isolate one of these duels, faking out the sound, but now know exactly where he is. Needs to try and drop one of them, and Haodong is waiting on the other side. Great start to this map from EDG.
Well, we've seen these leads fumbled before, the 3-0 and the immediate bite back, but this one, it has a very sweet taste for the EDG fans. Their economy is stacked. You've got 3 players floating around that 5K mark. In fact, coming out of that round, you've got players close to 9K, but big reinvestments being made, big upgrades too. The Bladestorm will be online soon, so definitely no economic struggles, and a Viper's Pit to work with, most likely in this round. Will it be used in this round? That's a different question, but these are huge pieces of utility and abilities to have, where GENG now find themselves trailing and on an eco.
Yeah, I do wonder when the moment will be that we see GENG kind of stack up a little bit over on towards that A site. It's what this composition for the side of EDG really relies upon, is these A site hits, because again, it can be quite difficult without having a straight up blockade of something like a cove, or even like having those extra flashes that you might see coming out of Gecko. For now, at least, though, already shutting down the players in mid, and they are just winning every single battle very easily indeed.
Well, Bladestorm even going to come out here to try and close out this round. I'm not sure this was needed, but you know.
Either a misclick or he's just like, I'm going to get 5 kills next round anyways.
Audacious play if it's the latter. I would side towards a misclick, but maybe it's just asserting the dominance. Oh, first shot, not gonna lie. He's up in the window!
You go what you deserve.
Absolutely. Economic damage now looking pretty good for GENG. Already 2 rifles dropped. Let's see how many more. Again, there's so much money on the other side, but Munchkin was really starting to dice them up. Haodong was left on 8 HP. Luckily, far enough away. Now, 4-0 we go for EDG, and now the buy comes through from GENG. But the thing is, the attackers have quite a lot to work with, not just on the credit side. Like we said, the Viper's Pit now is online. The Hunter's Fury is there. The Bladestorm isn't, but that's a different story.
Yeah, he hit 3 headshots, and he only actually got 1 kill from headshots because of some of the players so far away. I'm looking at that operator, though. This is where Texture can bridge the gap a little bit. You can see that gamble already beginning. 3 players over. They're going to look to try and pressure, but this is why they have 3 players on the other side of the map. The reliance on Texture. No escape available at this stage, so he's just going to have to run, and he will hightail it out, but there's been a catch in mid.
Yeah, this is a big kill. Losing their utility, they're going to filter back in very quickly on the side of GENG to take that space, but the cost is massive. 2 kills and a big player taken down. If GENG decide, or if EDG, pardon me, try to switch directions, GENG would be blind to it. Up closer, Texture's already used his dash. There's no easy way out. And with the shot not hit, nobody is punishing again and again. Lakia, the last man standing. Once the herald of this region, he was all we heard about again and again. Oh, wait till he steps on the international stage. Well, doesn't look too good in this one. There's a 1v4 though, so we'll give him a chance. 5-0.
Doesn't he only play Bind?
Yeah, I think they messed up their roster on this one. Oh, that was those are
dark days.
Yeah.
It's really funny as well because the first map GENG banned was Bind. So we're not doing it to you, buddy. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. But no, what a start from EDG. This is a map that they played once in the season in China. They lost to FBX, and that was in the final. He is that good.
Well, he's had a tough time when it came to the operator up on B. And one of the other things is the consistent knife coming out of Smoggy early on sort of deters that early aggression. You're never really going to have a chance to actually use it now. You have heard that Bladestorm pop.
He's lost it.
And he's gone for a moment. It will be back, and there's no pressure immediately applied, but they are keeping 3 players towards the B site, and this is exactly what EDG want. The rotates just now started for GENG, but EDG are already knocking on the door of A. It's all about pace here. How soon they're going to actually commit to this. It looks like not soon enough. Texture has rotated in, and in fact, Karen's on the way to help out. This could be a stacked site, and Munchkin at least grabs 1. This is what we needed to see, and Texture now canceled out completely.
Yeah. Second time he's lost it, but he was given an opportunity. Nice shot from Meteor, though. Gonna go back in with the Sheriff. Still just means a 1-for-1 trade, but Karon starting to step up. This is starting to look doable as he gets a second off the back of the Guardian. And now that Bladestorm, at least a couple of knives should be online. Smoggy just waiting patiently. Little bro is going to give his position away, and eventually, finally, that knife comes through. The MasterCard Thrifty will give GENG their first round.
Yeah, Texture waited quite a while to get to use that. A funny round from them, but the early contact on B, I guess from EDG, the fact that they didn't follow it up, you have the drone go through, the knife fall, and then they immediately move towards that A site, but shifting the whole way. It allowed them to rotate in on the side of GENG on time. They were ready for this play, and they obviously held back until you saw those knives come back online. Good crunch, and 5-1 on the board. This was not a round that most people would have expected them to take, and if they did, probably off a massive play from Texture.
No, I thought they'd win it, but yeah.
You just expected the one kill from the Bladestorm, did you, Tom?
Yeah.
That adds up.
Let's just not play back any of the audio of what I said.
Yeah, no, we can replay it later. It's okay. The op again on Texture. He has another opportunity. And the dash still online.
As well.
Oh, they've been spotted. Yeah, that recon just saw the player in the corner. This would have been a great bait, firing the op, running back, telling them like, oh, I'm scared, and then easily mowed down by Lakia.
Looking at the aggressive position as well. Like, Munchkin has pushed up. Nice shot from Meteor as always. Won that battle versus Chichu for the first time. Now this position becomes a little bit more audacious because you already have the man advantage. You don't really need to be in such an aggressive position anymore, but there isn't a safe way out. This needs to be at least a 1-for-1 trade, and I think he's going to get maybe even more than that. The only thing is the timing. There's that first, but Smoggy comes around the corner. The hard check.
Spike down A.
Really saved the day with that one. Nobody's going to recon out after dropping Texture, making it up top, but Chiron spotting it. And for EDG, the spike is now down. They've got plenty of control. The B side is theirs. But what are they going to do with it? Nothing without that spike. It's Con, 1 versus 3, 20 seconds left. And it seems like this round is already over. No, the angle's a little off on Timmy. So he's sneaking his way through, but now he's being spotted. And with 12 seconds left, there is no chance to plant. They're just going to send one player. Well, actually, they're going to scatter in every direction, ensuring no matter what, he can't get all 3 kills.
Yeah, if it was anyone else, I think maybe there'd be a bit of confidence. You're going, do we want to face into Con? Nah, not really. They are going to hit the steps, though.
That's why.
That's the exact reason why. So clean with it. But I'm liking the adaptations we're already seeing from GENG. That was the exact thing I was saying in the early rounds is, are they going to now adapt to stack up that A side? Because, as said, with all the utility that's there for EDG and without having something to help them get the plant on that B site, it becomes a lot easier to fall back into the same sort of traits of going in towards that A site and looking for that after plant. So they've just started stacking up players. You've had aggressive positioning from Munchkin, and then they've gambled in the early round. Okay, let's see if they push B. If they don't, we'll quickly rotate. And it's worked for them so far.
Well, GENG certainly starting to find their footing on this defensive side. The 5-0 was worrying, concerning. But it's still very much alive. Even in the last series, thinking about the Lotus game, you saw Sentinels flying into the lead, and it's much closer at the halftime. It's fairly common for teams to need that little bit of time to see how your opponents are playing.
To what you were saying earlier, I think for minimum 5 rounds, I think GENG are fine. They've shown that they have normally about 6 to 8 rounds every single time they play their attack side, so it's definitely their favored of the lot. Looking to now set up in towards this B take, but again, the read from GENG, they've got that early rotation, they've set Texture up over on the A site, and actually, we're going to see a Hunter's Fury popped. They're going to try and get that opener, and they might just succeed. Nice work to take out Karen. That weakens the defense a bit, but there are still multiple players here, and the hold on mid to make sure they can't rotate back.
Well, that hold's just now given up, but they're aware it could still be online. Instead, they're going to commit towards the B side rather than going to A, and it's worked out fantastically. Just Munchkin left. He's got some support on the way. Meteor just making it through the halls, but look who's right behind them. Nobody snuck his way in, and he's grabbed a quick double. The lead now convincingly in their favor, and with a lurk from Chichu, the final nails in the coffin for that round. 6-2. EDG back on the board.
That was just gorgeous. The way they isolated each of the fights, okay, I'd say the Hunter's Fury had a little bit of risk to it, but you could normally gamble, especially after seeing the snake bite. You know that he's on yellow, so either you clear yellow or you have at least a kill. And then on the other side of things, just lovely little interplay. The pop flash coming out of Smoggy, he's already racking up the assists, and well, you're going to bank on if you blind an opponent, Concon's getting that kill.
I think I'd be pretty confident with that one. So long as he's on the same side of the map, that player's dropping now. Con wants to get greedy. He heard the orb be tapped, but there were players covering it from far back. Lots of big irons in play for Sheriffs, and a classic for Lakia. But the real danger here is when it comes to ultimates. Retake with a Viper's Pit, even the pistols can be deadly inside of that, and a Thrash online as well. There's definitely potential for GENG to play retakes with some success, although again, it would be risky. Really, if we see them commit anything big, I imagine it's going to be on the back of a couple kills first, and they need to find those. Texture, a good candidate for it, but they're going to be forced back by this lockdown.
I think that's been the problem, because some of these ults have been online for a little while now, but they just haven't really found any opportunities to actually be able to use them, and a lot of that is because they've stacked the right sites most times, and at least the lockdown and other stuff is very good for retaking. Again, they do a little bit of damage, but ultimately, Mitch, not really much to write home about.
No, and I think certainly not with the amount of credits that are in play for most of the EDG players. Even the reinvestments will keep them with a 2-round buffer. So for GENG, coming towards the latter stage of this half with just a couple rounds left to compete for, yeah, it's not ideal. They have those 2, rounds 6 and 7 under their belt. Things were looking good, but we do need to see them build the rest of those foundations fairly soon. And, well, Tom, you've just pointed at my screen, and I almost just don't want to bring it up. But, yeah, I said Lakia has had a tough time.
It's
He's
the no
having
assists
a tough time
as well. Like, it means that so far there's been almost literally no impact, which is a pretty scary prospect. I've loved the way that they've used this combination of Gecko and KO in the past. So far, it's just not really been there. Oh, Can has definitely a little bit of extra sound. I don't think it's ludicrous to say that GENG have a decent idea of where they're going. Already 3 players sat within the A site. Alert from Chichu. This battle between him and Meteor has been a regular occurrence, but this time it looks like it might go amiss.
Chichu's at least been spotted, but they don't react in time. A free kill for him, but not the follow-up. Meteor's at least able to keep this control, as the lockdown now is a big threat for EDG. They're going to give up the site control. Spams on the way as they retreat. Con keeping their back secure, but a Viper's Pit to stop them from getting back into the site, to stop them from keeping their Viper's Pit online. EDG completely shut out of the A site. Now they've got to go looking elsewhere, but in fact, they've already gone looking elsewhere. They've pushed up mid, made it through the tube. They'll be spotted immediately by the turret, but with 5 HP here, a big threat for Texture. He's got an op that can one-hit them. If they've got anything, they can one-hit him back.
Yeah, they still have the spike over on A, though. They are still going in this direction. Howdong needs to find something here, and he does. It leaves it down to just one player actually within the site. They have to go running in, though. Karon might be able to just ruin their day, and that's exactly what he'll do. 3 kills, a good reaction initially off the back of the Viper's Pit, but also a solid hold as he was the last point of defense.
And just a really good read from him as well, that if he sits inside that pit, they'll push in. If they go through the pit, probably he gets them both, but there's a rope right up top, and it's dangerous. Instead, he just waits for them, lets them try to jump straight through to get the plant. The time was what was putting the pressure on them. Yeah. 7-3, GENG found another round, economy's good, Thrash online. They committed a couple ultis to the previous, but they also managed to deny Howdong's Viper's Pit. This is an incredibly aggressive push coming out of Munchkin. No flash on the corner, looks like he just wants to hold it, but soon, you have to imagine he goes for that peek. He's out in no man's land, backed up by Karan, but now the real trouble comes into play. Where can he go from here?
Oh, they haven't actually pressured. I guess at this point they expect that there's an operator on the angle. Yeah. So they don't gonna go pushing around that corner and give Texture a free kill. Little do they know, Texture actually isn't there at all. He's on the other side of the map, and again has a little bit of aggressive support from Lakia. A slower approach though from EDG, and this is what works for them. They've been very good at pulling those rotations. The calls from Howdong have been fantastic. For now, at least, looking like a similar setup to what we've seen before. Now, Karan has to be careful. He got isolated last time. In fact, he's playing anti-flash, ready for it, and will even pick off that first kill.
He's done extremely well. They know he's here, but the backup is covering him until he swings into Con. A dangerous play for anyone to make. One that, well, was punished that time, but the trade is good. 2 versus 4. Munchkin and Meteor extremely low after that engagement. But what can really be done by just a lone gun of Smoggy. 15 seconds or so to get that spike on the ground, and it looks like it will make it to the ground. Unfortunately, not planted. 7-4. GENG, well, they've certainly recovered this one after a shaky start and a couple bumps in the road. They could have a 7-5 half.
Yeah, and as I said, that's not bad. Like, that will be workable for them. I do think they're going to have to be careful because, as you've already mentioned, the sniper of Kankan on the other side is always going to be a prospect, but they've made this one look doable after what was a blitz of a first 5 rounds. Even still, though, an 8-4 and EDG are not going to be too worried whatsoever. Looking to again build up in towards that A site. The real threat, as always, is going to be Texture. They're already going to clear the close angles. It almost seems like a direct counter to just the position that Munchkin was playing earlier.
Well, here comes the null command, and assumably the rest of the EDG squad will be following up with it. A full play towards the A site. And Lakia seems to be point of contact. It's nobody to find one with Texture down. Munchkin soon to follow, but EDG find a roadblock. Lakia just the one before he falls, as the defensive side is now locked out. 2 versus 3. Meteor, okay, he's caught nobody up top. The spike still not planted, but Smoggy finds both kills to close this one out. 8-4 at the halftime, a significant lead for EDG. But GENG, they recovered it a little bit towards the end. They certainly seem hotter now, moving on to their attack.
Yeah, Lakia got his first kill in that round, so there you go. He's at least on the board, but it definitely was a rough half for him. Meteor is the one that we're really going to be singing about, but no, I think the side of EDG are going to be very, very happy with the way that one has gone. A fantastic start for them, but also just continuously adapting. I think they did very well, slowing down a lot of the rounds and just playing with their opponents for the majority of this half.
Yeah, most definitely well on the side of GENG.
It's those executes around that double flash. The dizzy flash combo that you can throw out with KO is fantastic. So hopefully they're going to be able to get off the mark here. Otherwise, they're going to have to head into Split, which has been an amazing map for EDG.
Yeah, it's been tough so far. Like you said, that get-go on Lakia, it's hard not to be drawn to.
He's dead.
Well, that's about as poor a start as you could get for the poor guy. He's got the 1 kill, no assists on the back of it, but his teammates looking to pick up the pieces here in the pistol. Already finding a lot of value is Meteor, and he's got backup. Even if they take him down now that he's super low or hear his steps running away, they should not assume that there's another player around here. It's free for Texture. He's also not being off to a great start. A lot of whiffed up shots, but this one, it couldn't get any easier. There you go. Smoggy down, nobody left. 1v3, Meteor low, but everyone else is healthy. And the time is on GENG's side. This will be a impressive clutch, to say the least. He's got the first already. Okay, maybe there is a chance. A Meteor down below quickly shuts it down. Big round for GENG to get on the board.
Yeah, you can take the man off the duelist, but you can't take the duelist out of the man. Meteor has been clean so far in this game. 17-10, really putting up a lot of numbers individually, but also just finding space. That was basically what he did this round, just while the rest of the action was going down elsewhere on B long, just manages to get through that mid position and find that initial fight. It's going to put them at least, well, if they convert this round within touching distance. And as said, that's all they really need. Like a lot of the games that we've seen from them, they've managed 8 rounds over on this attacking side. So they can easily get this over the line, and wow, what a start to have already. Kankan down, one of the main danger players. Because you have to bear in mind, EDG have been unbelievable with their pistols. Even when they have nothing, they've managed to do a lot.
Oh yeah, they were a very scary team when it came to those ecos, and what we're seeing right here for EDG, 4 players stacked up and ready to go. Flash out, kill not coming in onto the little guy. So the plant has been secured. EDG numbers thinned out, and that defensive side doesn't stand a chance at this stage. You have to imagine Chichu 35 HP in a 1v3 with a Sheriff in hand. And 2 of his opponents have rifles with a double peek setup. I don't know how he hit that shot, but thank God Texture was up top to cover.
Yeah, they've made that one really costly, though. 3 players go down, so it's definitely not ideal. And I believe they lost at least a Guardian in that round. So it's not like you had a load of pistol players alongside them. So I think they could be very happy with that, especially when, for the majority, that was them fighting up against an afterplant. So I think that EDG have done well to make that one as costly as possible, and because of that, well, Lucky is only going to have himself a pistol. We'll see, though. These A-side takes is where I've really enjoyed watching this squad play. I think EDG know that. They've got 3 players here initially.
Well, early control is taken by the side of GENG. They've also put an alarm bot to cover the walk-up. I mean, that's a very aggressive stance. I don't think we saw that from EDG on their attack side at all. No turret to cover their back either. Where is that being placed? It must have been destroyed early. And for EDG, you said 3 players on A. They're still there. But the drone clearing out some space might cause that rotate to come through. I just wonder if GENG are planning to go back here with Meteor still being so far up, or if he's trying to sneak behind them, which it looks like that was the idea. Not very successful.
Oh, now you're going to have Lackid looking to try and lead the charge. There was a snake bite down. I don't know if that's actually going to deny it. No, it isn't.
Far enough.
Managed to reposition, so that's something at least. Already, though, with that man advantage and Chichu on a fast flank. Bear in mind, because they lost Meteor, they don't actually have any flank watch. He is just walking up behind them. This is looking like some of the freest kills he's ever going to have. Manages the burst, but now he's just a nuisance and continues to be a flawless round coming out of the side of EDG to put themselves back on the board.
Yeah, this is a big round. I mean, as soon as they take down Meteor, they make the realization the push wasn't coming in there from the drone earlier, from the lack of footsteps and follow-ups, and the lack of entry. There was no dash in, there was nobody taking the space, no flashes, just a guy sneaking up. That's clearly a lurk. Immediately the decision is made to go on that flank, and it was the right call. The value found absolutely massive. But it was one of those rounds for GENG where you're not going to be happy to give it away, but it's somewhat expected. You don't get a lot of damage. I do think they'll be a bit upset that they got none.
Yeah, no, for sure. It means that now the economy can really build up for EDG. They'll have another buy, and also, in terms of ults, getting that a little bit closer. Now there is already one online. That null command available. I like the audacity of Kankan to play this spot again. He got a kill from that in the last round. So you'd think it's going to be immediately checked, and I think it may have been. I don't know if Munchkin caught the angle, but Kankan definitely saw him, and here comes that double flash, but he's managed to avoid both. And Kankan, you can't allow him to survive in these sort of positions, just continues his aggression. Karam, the only one left. He does still have the spike. He's going to try and get the rats off, but Chichu picks him out of the sky.
I think it's fair to say he expected that. Very nice crosshair placement from him. I assume that wasn't just a reactive shot, because that would be a little bit ridiculous. Double digits for EDG on the back of that round. And, you know, just looking at this, it's so smart. Kankan falls back, allows the contact to be taken by nobody, and then goes back out into heavy traffic. Yeah, you can see he was thinking about it. He tried to equalize things into a 2v2, at least use the res as a bait to force a fight. But it's not worked out. 10 rounds for EDG. Economy absolutely stacked, and GENG going to be in trouble. Timmy is no more. Nice early utility. This is just making them very paranoid about middle, and you can see there's a lot of bodies looking around this area.
Yeah, the thing is, the only real danger, wow. This man is always a danger, but I mean the only real danger in this round for EDG is that Viper's Pit. Like, if they can get that into a position where the weaponry can actually become valuable, that's so filthy. They've used it to force them back. They're pushing them into Kankan. They're looking to just feed him frags. That's such a disgusting use of an ultimate. Just like, here you go, Kankan, farm.
Yeah, it's not even a time thing. There's still 50 seconds left on the clock. It's just really locking them into a box. Fish in a barrel for Kankan on the first, as GENG now look to take the site, but no matter, well, I was going to say where they go, they don't even get a chance to. Sprayed through the smoke immediately. 2 players holding on the next fight, and Kankan clean. The final one comes through, and again, we're not going to see any damage dealt. A flawless round for EDG. And if you're on this attacking side, it feels like they're just running headfirst into a brick wall. This is an opportunity as they get the rifles out, but Tom, it could be their last real opportunity. Some ultis online, some rifles in hand, and EDG 2 rounds away from taking it.
I'll be honest with you, the way this match is going so far, this could be a statement from EDG. Because they played versus Paperex, a team they've never been able to beat. They beat them in a long fought out series. They come in here, this is a map 5-0 for the side of GENG, and they're going into Split next, which is their best map. If they just demolish GENG here, I think we have to start switching our expectations. And for the side of GENG, well, we heard from Munchkin earlier, this was going to be the time that he manages to get his revenge. It is not looking likely right now.
This drone's going to get so much information as well. Here comes the dash, and the dash out of Concon as well. He is repositioning and caught, falling out of the sky. Smoggy's made it out.
Actually, Karen goes down trying to kill him.
Oh, no.
Chi-Chu has managed to get that kill. I think he was up top. Counter flash, but it shouldn't matter too much. The HP is so much in favor of their opponents. I don't know how EDG are going to find a gap in here. Oh, Tex just kind of got lost a little bit. No cover either. Somehow we're back in a 3v3.
Yeah, the EDG have managed to create their own opportunities. The real problem, though, is the time on the clock and the amount of GENG players tucked away. EDG make the call. They go aggressive to try and root these players out of post-plant positions, but Meteor's got an angle, and up top, they've spotted that there's not one but two players ready to pounce. A good response from GENG. The gap is only 4. It's obtainable, but this road is filled with peril.
Yeah, I'm not sure I feel like I believe at this point. There hasn't been too many convincing rounds, even when GENG have been winning it. And we've had multiple flawless rounds already from EDG in this half. Like, look, they're buying in with an operator and can still comfortably buy this round and the next. So this is already where the game changes. They also had to use the Thrash to actually be able to take the space. They're not going to have that one in this round, but they are 1 away from a lockdown. Already, a lot of information garnered by the side of EDG. That initial knife has spotted the majority of players. Viper's Pit could be thrown in here. Carrot's actually rotated in very early, and they've got such an aggressive mid position that they can actually hold this spot and keep 3 players within the site. And similarly to what they did with the lockdown, if they throw Viper's Pit in here, it may just be used to deter. I don't know if that will have connected. I don't think it did.
Doesn't look like it. Player slightly out of the circle, especially with the height of it. Flash in deep, but Howdong already saw him. Well handled to find the first. The numbers sit towards GENG with the site under their control, and now the actual advantage, 4 versus 3. EDG on the fight back. They've got a flank underway. They've managed to sneak their way up pretty close with that turret down. And they've got a lot of control, but GENG have to be aware of this. And even as the turret comes back up for a moment, it's too late. They've already gotten past, and it's Concon, the danger man. Now operator in hand, dash online, Bladestorm in the back pocket, and he's making his way forward. He's making noise while the rest of his team come in to fill the gaps, and the players spotted up top. That's an ambitious way to try and take that fight. Munchkin's actually got an opportunity now, but Smoggy saves the day for EDG. That could have been a way back through for the attacking side. Instead, it's 12-7. EDG on map point on their opponent's map pick.
Yeah, this is the thing that's now become peculiar, because although Meteor has probably been the best player individually for GENG, that's a couple of times now where I feel like they've been boxed in either from him dying and just not realizing his util gone, or in that case, him being so far forward that his util goes offline. Now that's a mistake that you just can't have. You're in a man advantage. He doesn't need to be that far forward, and if he is, somebody else needs to be aware of it. Those are mistakes that if you give those over to EDG, you're done. You can't allow Concon that much space.
This is it. It was a small window, and I think obviously a lot of this impact coming out of Smoggy popping the...
Had some rough games of Breeze, so they lose this map, and well, EDG have 2 opportunities on maps that I favor them on to close out this series.
Well, you know, 4 ultimates is usually a very strong position, but more so for EDG. If they had 4, they could dump them all into a round and just claim 1 round win, move on to the next map. For GENG, they have to be a bit more conscious of how they use these. So obviously off rip, you're going to see the Bladestorm pop to make up for the economic disadvantages. Munchkin also using his ultimate, the null command, I mean, robbing them of their abilities if they're close enough, and a Viper's Pit committed. So I said they need to reserve them. They have dumped them into this round, with a lockdown being the only thing they'll carry through to the next.
I don't know if they will.
That's the thing, if they keep it.
Yeah, the Judge investment, I like it from Munchkin. He's going to play a close corner within this Viper's Pit. I feel like they almost need this one just to keep their economy strong, and they are utility dumping. Already Texture's going to pick off one, but so much util thrown in to clear him out. It's easier said than done, though, as he takes out Chichu along with it. Nobody trying to clear this backline. Somehow Kankan's found another. They may not get to use that ultimate at all because they're being picked apart. It's left all on to Karon, but the time is ticking low. If he gets this kill, it's surely done, and it will be. But he's going to go down with it. That was meant to be an economy builder as they spam all their ultimates bar one, and they don't even get a single player out alive.
Yeah, that's, I mean, just take a look at the credits. No one's able to get their full shields alongside the rifles. Maybe one player is, but that's about it. This is going to be a really tough position to play from because, like we said, there's almost two ways you could look at it. Save the ultis and try to use one, maybe two, incrementally tick them over and use them as safety nets in these rounds, or dump them and build that economy. So you've got rifles. This is the worst of both worlds.
It came down to Rebel clutch. That's all you really need to know.
So
and
now they've got to do
it was clutched by the spike.
I also, worth mentioning, I like EDG's approach to just not play heads up into the Viper's Pit, to move around the back and try to contend for the backside all the way down that laneway. It's a good idea, and you can see it very nearly worked for them. I think if GENG had slightly less ultimates pop, the round would have fallen away. This man's crazy. He hasn't even popped his dash yet.
He also doesn't know that someone's already crossed to the other side. So this really is a very, very audacious play. He's dead. He's definitely dead. I don't know if that was maybe slight misinformation, but even still a filthy shot to open. The take in the meantime has come in onto the B site. So no. A single bullet tapped and Chichu just ruins his opponent. They're not even going to get the spike down, and now this is a problem. Things become so much more difficult. The spam through from nobody is so clean. And now Texture, the hero, the man that has been highlighted throughout this tournament so far. He's got to find three to try and save them. The spike is down. Nobody has already spotted him on the angle. There is no hope. EDG come through with a dominant victory when it comes to map number one. But ultimately, I just think having that paranoia, being able to set up a little bit more, I think is going to benefit them quite a bit. Again, though, I do think we need to see quite a bit from that double duelist. Meteor and Texture, they are both insanely strong on these duelists, but so is Nobody. And he's going to go almost immediately. Does take one with him, though.
Well, the Fnatic Classic finds one as Kankan escapes with his life. They made it here in some way. They're living on. Well, let's see if he can find any more with his low HP. He's actually going back out to aggress for some information. This is a risky play, but he's cleared a lot of control, but it's up close Munchkin that I'm worried about. As the peak comes through, nice connection, down to 47, but Munchkin finding that kill keeps him alive for the clutch. The 1 versus 2 that he finds himself in, a 3K to close this one out, and the first player he has to deal with is up in heaven. He hasn't realized that, and so that will be his downfall. With a defuse coming through from the Omen on EDG, it's 1-0.
Team A.
Solid start from them once again, and I think this is the thing. They're always going to be pushing and pulling around, especially on that A site. We saw that multiple times yesterday from Nobody, always happy to get up in his opponent's faces. And I think this map is the one where he might be most comfortable individually. Like, we saw him have a really poor performance, come onto this map and just be unbelievable. So not a great sign after he's just had a very good map, and now going onto this as well. And I think for GENG, just one of the main worrying factors here was obviously coming into this map, they are starting on the attack side. Now, normally you'd look at this composition and go, oh, well, that's fine. You've got double duelists, you've got the sort of explosive nature of this composition, but they had a really rough time the last couple of times they played on the attack. In fact, even in a 13-11 match, they only got 2 rounds on attack.
Well, this should be an easy farming round, with GENG just left down to pistols. An opportunity for them to get a little bit done there, but no shots connected, with just the one falling of Haodong. A good opportunity to build the economy seems to be just around the corner. There has been a retrieval. Karon posing a little bit of a threat with the Bulldog, but his HP is being chipped away at, down to 70 now. Good flash. The flank of Nobody has caught Munchkin completely off guard. Cleaned up on this B site. EDG find their second. Here's the real challenge, though, as GENG pull out the rifles.
Yeah, they've gone quite heavy into the Bulldogs, though. Clearly feeling confident that they can get it done with these weapons, so it's not going to be the worst purchase in the world. Still a lot of opportunities for them to try and find something in. Nobody going to go onto the Stinger, and honestly, I'm happy to see it. That said, he's very good at getting up close in their face, and this is where we get to see if they can get off to that flying start, because let's be real, in the last map, Lakia had a Howler, and for the most part, Texture got shut down. They're two players that are going to have to be impactful here, because Lakia has a lot of the setup utility that they're going to be running, and well, Texture is Texture. He needs to be fragging.
Well, this is it, right? Again, we mentioned Texture wasn't necessarily as hot as we were expecting on the previous map. Lakia, I mean, it's unlucky. He's going to have that video made about him on Twitter. Nobody had it yesterday, the day before. Now it's his turn, I suppose. Hopefully not 2 maps in a row, though, as we know what Lakia is capable of. GENG up close, but it's Concon having pushed through the wall that will find the kill. A blast pack down to deter further aggression, and he's out scot-free. Advantage for EDG, which is so valuable in a round like this.
Yeah, they already managed to win the bonus in the last map. Bear that in mind. That was the 5-0 start that they had. Howdong just trying to play with his opponents, and a little bit of space being taken. Chichu, oh, he got the timing spot on. Means he's going to just push them back. 40 seconds left, and as of right now, GENG have no control. They're only just making their way into mid. Like, this is such a slow attempted take. It's getting very, very scary for them, and they even still had a nade on the other side to deter them even more.
Smoggy still got the stun in back pocket as well, but it's not going to be used till they dive onto site by the looks of things. Howdong spotted and now challenged by Munchkin. Good kill found, but it's Concon. That's returning like for like. Nade down is perfect. It's not going to be planted anytime soon, and time is running out. Just 6 seconds left with nobody, all alone. He's not able to deny. Plant going down, but he knows where both players are, at least roughly. Snuck his way past around the back of the site. They don't know that just yet, but I like the idea to group up together, and Charon, before the heal even comes through, closes the round out. 2-1, costly, good damage from EDG, and great potential for them to have won that.
Yeah, I think that's the scariest prospect is Concon's nade could have finished it. If he lands the shot, he could have finished it, but GENG do manage to hold on and at least convert the round this time. They're not out of the woods yet, though, because as mentioned, that was a bonus. That was Bulldogs and a Stinger. Now they come in with the full rifles, one off a Showstopper as well, so Ultimate's definitely closer to coming online, and those duelists are still yet to show up over on the GENG side. It's early days, but it can't go on for too much longer.
Again, that's the anti-bonus round coming out from GENG. 2 players left standing. Their economy is going to be chipped away at, as we can see. There's 3 players very low on credits, and the big problem being that EDG close to having a very valuable ultimate. All we need is Concon to find an orb or a kill, and he's been pretty consistently finding at least the one in some rounds. So massive safety net potentially there for them later on. GENG early challenge, good damage on the one player that can't be healed back up. And they're happy with that. Yeah, they've deterred some aggressive control and started to move towards middle. The only thing, Tom, is that there was a flash that just popped by nobody. It saw no one was there.
Yeah, and
the Tiger goes through. No one else here. That's a lot of information. And with the Tiger not being heard by GENG, they don't know how much of a read EDG have on their current play.
They've been so good at this. Similarly on Icebox, just being able to get so much information and then just play off of it. They're going to have 2 players watching into mid, 2 players on the B site. Looking at Howdong as well. Look, they've even got the stun at the back, 2 flashes, a paranoia. Like, they have so much utility for this take-in already, though. Great start. Meteor, even while blinded by the paranoia, is going to be able to find one, and he gets the second as well. The duelist finally coming alive, but here comes that Showstopper. They have to back out. There's only 20 seconds left. Any time that could be bought could be paramount. It's done so much damage. 21. And well, now the HP healing back up onto Charon. He's going to TP to the other side of the map, but look how close nobody is. A flash just to try and catch him. He's going to be able to get the plant in, but look at where the rest of the players are. They've got to go sprinting to try and get back in here. It is shaky from Chichu. I don't think it's going to matter, though. There's nothing they can do to stop this. It's a very peculiar round, and it ends with a Red Bull clutch.
Just some good old hard yakka, standing in between us and victory.
Well, Tom, this has unfortunately swung back the way that we feared it would.
Player standing.
EDG finding the round in a very unusual manner, considering the TP I mean, it was a last-second attempt to get that spike down. It wasn't going to find its way to the B site, that's for sure.
Well, the thing is, they're not baiting out any of the utility. Like, I'll be honest, what Meteor got away with there while being paranoid is a lot more than I was expecting. They still had all of Breach's kit, all of Haodong's kit on Omen as well. Yeah. I think all that was used was nobody's utility. And sure, it doesn't come back anymore, but that you need to be getting rid of some of that util at some point in the round before you go running in with 30 seconds left. This is disgusting.
Yeah, no way you expect this. Reacting to it, well, apparently is easy enough.
All right.
Texture just tanked a shotgun to the face. Chinchu's got a 50-50. If he checks left, no! Oh, Munchkin! A chance for more as well. The shots didn't land, but well, this has been a bit of an unusual start to things. EDG have the advantage in rounds, but not in this one. The man advantage was to GENG. Now it's just right about even with a rifle recovered by Lakia and movement towards this A site, but TP in. Haodong's in position to stop them from easily walking into this A site, and he's checking heaven. Lakia needs to win this fight on the way out. In fact, timing will be a key factor for him. The flash goes towards the elbow. It seems like he's safe to cross with EDG too far away to do anything at this point with Smoggy still in spawn.
Again, the time getting a little bit low, but the aftershock won't be placed before anything else can be done. Lakia still having his Tiger. Oh, he is going to be able to spot the man in the corner. Haodong, though, not stunned up. It doesn't matter. Even still, comes back into the trade. Smoggy with his full belt of utility still online. Hasn't had to use any of it just yet. But instead, he's going to potentially just go walking through this smoke. And Lakia, the man who was silent on the last map, speaks loud in this round as GENG get their second.
2 big kills from him, denying the vent control and then closing out the round as well. This is what we wanted to see. Lakia waking up, finding his form, finding his footing, as it's 3-2, a 1-round gap between them. And again, looking at how some of these rounds have gone down, you know, in the previous map, it was feeling pretty much favored to EDG from the get-go. After the first 5 rounds, essentially, they didn't really take their hands off the reins. Here, though, GENG are already punching back.
Yeah, they managed to do it with a low buy as well. The pistols finding a lot of value, and that success could make all the difference. They've already realized that nobody's close, and having that judge, you really don't want to pressure into this man just yet. Interestingly, you've got the lurk out from Meteor on the other side of the map, but it does seem like EDG are fairly happy to just sit passive. And that's the thing, as I said, I don't feel like GENG have done a fantastic job of baiting out any of the utility from the side of EDG in these early rounds. This time, though, Paranoia not online, but they still have all of Viper's util, and in this case, the wrong read.
Yeah, even though the bird just went up from nobody and caught those players outside B, again, the problem's always going to be it could just be one player, one person lurking, catching that flash and running straight to A. But
giving him a smoke.
As we can see, this isn't how it's playing out. The judge, it could do a hell of a lot of damage up close like this, but the smoke is suspicious. They know there's something afoot, and Texture's dealt with it perfectly, well handled by GENG, and that's the real threat in this round dealt with already.
Yeah, when you put out a smoke like that, there's going to be a part of you that's thinking, okay, there has to be someone within it. And I like the fact that GENG play it safe. Boombot and Seekers gives everything away. They know that the site is clear. And that's the thing. They haven't had a lot of rounds, even throughout the series thus far, that have been particularly clean. Now, though, what can be found from EDG on the way back in? Probably not a lot. Smoggy at least will be able to find one, drop an extra weapon, but other than that, expectations desperately low, and Karen's taken a little bit of damage, but he'll fade out of there before his life is lost. For Smoggy now, the value might actually come from going down to the spike.
Yeah, that's definitely the game plan for him. As another round swings to GENG. And again, I like their usage of their ultimate. Lakia puts out the Seekers just to confirm there's a player close in that smoke. They have a Boombot following it up. It allowed them the perfect timing to swing in on the back of that utility and catch a player repositioning around the corner. At 3-3, it really is anyone's game. And that was my worry, was that we'd come into this map after the first being pretty dominant in favor of EDG, and we would see this be a very quick evening. I think at the very least we're owed a close map between these two teams, if not a third one.
Well, normally EDG are stellar when it comes to this defensive side, so... And as said, GENG had some rough times when it came to their attack, so this is already a pretty decent start from them. If they can keep things even throughout, I think they'll be quite content. Already a fantastic start. Meteor has been great throughout the series on an individual level. That's a little audacious, though. Trade out with the showstopper will keep it in their favor, and Kankan just goes through! The movement's sublime. And now just looks to try and get a little bit more. The Rolling Thunder's going to leave Texture completely stunned up, but he hasn't been spotted. One bullet is all he needs, but Kankan's there again. A third kill for him already, and he needs the ace. He's going to look to try and get it half, but he's completely blinded. Already baiting them out. A second flash, and there is no hope. I've seen that one before, Mitch, but it won't happen this time.
Yeah, thankfully not. Second flash, immediate peek, and you could see he just had nothing to do unless the spray landed on heads right away. It was done and dusted.
Somewhere someone from Giant X is going, no, no, don't peek him.
Well, considering a 4-3 scoreline and 3 ultis online, Viper's Pit to play with as well, this was a big round for GENG because they've left their opponents with no money, no credits to buy back up. It's going to be a scrappy buy for the defensive side. And so far, we've seen GENG be very clinical with dealing with these lower buys. They've not been giving away too much. They have a healthy economy because of it. They'll look to farm up an even better one right here and now.
Okay, then. There's the Meteor we know and love. A lot of the time, we don't see him get to play that star duelist anymore, but with this 1-2 punch of him and Texture on this map, they are really starting to come alive. We mentioned him and Texture as clinical pieces to this puzzle. Carol, though, already just mowing down 2 of the remainder. Haodong not particularly close to the angle and the action. Again, it just comes down to can he make this one costly, but the fact is the economy now of GENG is off the charts. You win an eco and then have a couple of cleaner rounds. He's still actually killed the player behind through the other. It's a couple of guns lost, but ultimately for the side of GENG, it doesn't matter. They are stacked for cash.
Yeah, and even one of the players we saw there before we cut to the replay was Meteor. He had a judge, but he managed to upgrade to a rifle. And, well, with the economy that they have in play, there's not really going to be too much bother. Well, it's unsurprising in the...
Now let's see where the response lies. By the looks of it, they might be about to go for another fairly aggressive piece as they've got no luck. That's something we've consistently seen for GENG as they now look to take some early control towards this B side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, they have no control anywhere else, so there's not much of a backup plan here. The showstopper, well, that's plan A, and it hasn't worked out. Those players slowed down, sure, split, but they've already got players towards the site. Meteor's in position, teammates coming in to rally alongside him, and the retake attempt from EDG, it's not going too well. Kills swinging in favor of GENG, trade after trade, and a 3 versus 2. Lakia, 4 health, but there's not exactly too much they can do to take him down. If he's hit him in those corners, maybe Chichu needs a miracle snake bite to land. And it could come in off the back of the plant. It's Lakia attempting the plant. They don't know just how low he is. Viper's Pit activated, and that's going to even the playing field a little bit.
It was so close to taking him down, but now Meteor in the right place at the right time. He's going to clear out both of them. The direct approach just working out perfectly for GENG. Unable to slow them down, unable to stop them. I want to say as well, I think there was some gorgeous movement in there from Texture. I don't think there was a lot else in that round, but the showstopper's fired towards him, and he just backs out of there immediately off a blast pack, just flies backwards into the corner, and it hits nobody. That's the perfect thing for the side of GENG. They've dodged the showstopper, and that's the one thing that was really dangerous. Kankan in the right place at the right time. He was there, he got nothing.
That's it, but hey, that ain't gonna happen too many more times from what we've seen. Thank their lucky stars as we go 6-3. GENG doubling up on the scoreline now. Look at, oh no, never mind, look at this aggression coming out of Texture. He's running it down towards Vence, and he has certainly chased Kankan to the other side of the map. an impressive pace change from GENG, and now they've got full mid control.
Scout destroyed.
again, it seems like EDG have their players positioned well, and these are some of the rounds that worked out better for them. These slower paced rounds from GENG, it's been the quick moves in towards the site that have worked better for them. In terms of ultimates, not a whole lot online either. A Viper's Pit for Chichu, but where to place it would be the real problem. And starting to throw out some utility in towards this B site, but I can only assume with where their players currently sit, this is a ruse, and it's worked. It's pulled at least Kankan for the moment, but that stun is sublime. Now they'll have an extra player in to support Nobody already watching, but he doesn't get either. Luckily, Kankan is there.
Oh, and so is Chichu. Good shot to start and a follow-up. That's sublime. 21 HP left. He's in danger, but he's got 2 players close to back him up. And with 20 seconds left, it's time to get that spike planted for GENG. The last player standing will take Chichu down, but still 3 more, 15 seconds left. And surely this plant cannot be acquired. He'll tap it first to try and fade into a fight that doesn't go his way. 4 rounds for EDG. It's a resurgence. It's another foot in the door. But GENG have been looking good, and because of the rounds they've won, there's not going to be any thought of an eco for the rest of this half.
Oh no, not even remotely close. Again though, it does seem like when they split up and play these slower rounds, a lot of the time it ends up biting them in the back. I think just sticking together and just playing as almost a death ball has been one of the major sort of benefits for them. I also think as well, props need to be given to Smoggy. The stun there was just completely game-changing. Viper's Pit, though, immediately put down after what has been some tough executes for them to deal with on that side of the map. They're just going to section it off completely.
Well, the pings here from the attacking side seem to be going in towards the spawn. I don't know what play we're about to have come through, but I'm excited to see it. It looks like they want to end towards the A site, and okay, pings go back towards Heaven. Instead, that's going to be the play. Split Heaven, put pressure on this A site, and have your lurker, this time it's Meteor, to pick them up as they start to rotate back. It's a nice idea. See how the execution goes with Seekers confirming the players are here. You can easily see those rotates come through. That's the idea that Meteor is playing off of. Look at this shift back towards Heaven. They're ready to reunite, but Meteor can't go down. He has to maintain this control. Thought about walking into spawn. Instead, it's the sight on the back of a flash. A dash now up close to the pit, and as Chichu thinks about going outside of it, that could be the end of his life if he did. It's all down to timing. He's won the first, but that's all he gets.
Yeah, really nice trades. Lakia was well aware, and in fact, Meteor almost gets to kill himself. Kankan, though, you can't give this man that much space. Quickly takes 2. This round is starting to fall apart. They know exactly where Texture is, but can't quite connect onto him. The Tyke's gonna go through, but he runs through on the other side into the 1v1, but it's still Kankan. They just can't deal with this man. Again and again, he pulls off rounds that he shouldn't. And EDG, well, somewhat luckily, do get ever closer.
A sensational play by Texture. That almost won them the round, just blitzing through the smoke.
It should have won them the round.
It should have. It absolutely should have, if not for this man. That's gorgeous, and the return was straight through the smoke.
One enemy remains.
That's just disgusting.
Okay, running through the smoke, that's even worse. But it works, and if it works, it works. 6-5, EDG. In prime position to equalize coming out of this. That's what we like to see, getting heated down there. Showstopper online for both sides. This should be an interesting one. It's right off rip, both are used, and Texture! A double kill, but there's still one man standing, not anymore. This is Texture's round.
Yeah, anything you can do, I can do better.
Spike planted.
Now, well, for the remaining players, what do you even do? You've just lost the entirety of your B defense. Everybody was here waiting for this play to come through. Counter utility used to deny anything. That was the thing, the aftershock cleared a player out of position. It didn't matter. The paranoia wasn't even utilized in that initial take. To find any space here is gonna almost rely on a mistake, and what was it? You know what? Somehow Smoggy has made this interesting. It won't matter though. He started this round, and he will end it. Texture one-ups his opposing Rays.
Switching sides.
Oh, we had both showstoppers, Tom, but only one got to be fired. That is absolutely gorgeous for Texture, disrupting the plan of his opponents and getting ahead by just an inch. Just a second, that's all he needed. And a gorgeous ace to add to GENG's momentum. Now 7 rounds at the half. They're leading and moving over to their defense. I'm excited to see what they've got in store. Could be one last time. As EDG on their attack side look to close out this series up against GENG, it's their map pick. You know they're going to be comfortable on the attack. Remember, that means that GENG chose to start on their attack side. Maybe it's the best of what they've got planned already behind them.
It went well. Oh. Hello. I'm stuck on something.
I'm stuck on nobody.
Help me wait, what? Either way, we are going to have...
We'll just breeze right past that one, I suppose.
The flash coming in. Nobody looking to take the space. Been a little bit quieter this time around.
Yeah, not as pacey, that's for sure. EDG still just toying with that map control. It looks like they'll be taking the fight eventually, and it's Con and Smoggy to find the openings. Heaven completely under their control, or so they think. There is a fill back in by Meteor, but, well, it doesn't look like EDG have decided on where they're going. The spike is still in spawn, checking for a flank. And they're just waiting for GENG to make that move to re-clear the space. Player spotted up close, stun is good. And he's only bought himself a second as that smoke fades. Chichu lands this shot. Texture on 45, in a lot of trouble. Emerging from the smoke element of surprise! How has he gotten all 3? He was 45, now 15 HP with nobody, all alone. The frenzy up close in heaven. He has thread the needle beautifully for that one. And with Texture being on 15 HP, to be honest, after what I just saw, it's anyone's game, but 14 seconds left. Nobody has to be so quick. And look at Texture, he's already here. This could decide it. If he can speed his way through heaven, he might get the angle just after the plant. It all depends on where nobody's looking. In the wrong way! Texture's got 4! The pistol goes to GENG. This guy's insane!
I've had there's been a lot of plays the last couple of days, on this map in particular, that have left me speechless. I have no idea how he manages 3 kills here.
What?
Like, the last 2 especially. Like, that's better than anything you could ever dream to get from that position.
4 bullets, Tom! 4 bullets and he gets 3 kills on 45 HP!
Look at him go!
Give it to him! Oh, that's wonderful.
We are in for a treat. The 2 Rays players in this match at the moment have basically been competing for who can make the most audacious play of the day. Well, that was a round that should have been for EDG, but for that man. And already, him and Meteor are showing why we talk about this double duelist coming into this map. If they were going to win this, if they were going to compete, they had to be fantastic. And you know what? They're doing all right.
All right is an understatement. You know, what we've seen so far, individuals are coming online.
Forsaken set the bar.
Hey, listen, that's a bar that I think only he can jump over. But, well, with 9 to 5 on the board, GENG may well have that 3rd map locked and loaded for us. Breeze in the back of EDG's mind. But the forefront is the fact that it's only a 4-round gap. It's recoverable on the side of EDG.
It's definitely a long road back.
I think not helped by the fact that Texture got so many kills and is now 1 away from the showstopper.
And also the other kills all went to Meteor, which puts him a few away from a Blade Storm. So even if this goes badly, if he gets 1 or 2 kills and dies, that could be enough. They've actually got a great read as well. 3 players set up, Tiger through. Now there is a judge coming out from Card. The push through on the other side, but the trades have come in. Kept things in their favor. They don't expect Meteor to be here. Why would you? Another man pushing into mid, and Karen's there alongside him. GENG could give themselves a massive boost if they could take this round away, and well, Smoggy, he has now got some serious weight to carry. 3 players, Spike in mid, and they have a decent idea of where he's coming from, and his opponent's picked up a judge.
Yeah, picked up a judge and is sitting inside a smoke, so very best of luck to Smoggy here. Blind spray is probably his best chance.
He could stun all of them.
True, but he doesn't want to give it away. It's a contact play into a judge, and he got the contact he was looking for. 10 to 5, double digits for GENG. Showstopper online, Blade Storm close, and 3 rounds needed to pull this across the line. Oh, also EDG on an eco. So add up all those things, and it seems like it's a pretty hefty advantage towards the defensive side right now.
Yeah, I'll be honest, this game has not gone anywhere near the way I was expecting it to go, and yet it has been incredibly enjoyable.
Well, you did say you expected a map 3, but
not in this order.
Yeah, the other way around.
The journey's the journey hasn't gone as planned, but we might reach the same destination.
Exactly. Somehow, we've taken
just
a
like
detour.
you and your scooter.
This city's a little confusing sometimes. The GPS doesn't work. Nice shot by Meteor, doubled up on as well. The Outlaw putting in work in this round to control middle. For EDG, you know, this is somewhere they have been dangerous before. We said it in the last map. When they've got pistols, they were able to upset a lot of opposition. But GENG seemed to have a real handle on it, never letting these disadvantageous rounds slip out of their control.
This has genuinely become a race for who's going to be #1 on the scoreboard. Between Texture and Meteor, Kankan is still like in a close 3rd place, but those two have started to just completely run away with this one. But, you know, he's always terrifying. Guardian gets him a first. Now, he's actually a couple away. 1 more kill, even if he goes down. He's so quick with it. A single bullet is all he needs. A plant is actually going to give him a showstopper, but he has to try and fall back from it. And actually, the defenders are going to use their own one. Kankan's just found another one. Finally, it takes a bazooka to take him out. He's given some essence of hope for Howdon, but Texture was blind. I don't even think he knew that he'd killed him.
I expected to come out of this round and compliment Howdon. A fantastic paranoia and even better decision-making. He made the realization there's a good chance they're stacked up, one above the other, firing squad to take the trade. Blinds the guy down below, takes the fight against the top player.
Wait, where's this one?
Nice. That crosshair didn't stop moving either. It went past him. He just clicked it at the right time. Yeah, I'd love to see this guy. You ever seen those arcade games with the boxes that go left to right? You got to stack them all the way on top of each other?
He'll get banned.
He's out of the arcade
game, but that has quickly diminished. And now looking to just almost roam mid. They've got 3 players set up onto this B site. EDG spread. Trying to play this one in a bit of a slower default. Problem is, they've even used ults of their own in the last round. Kankan, I didn't actually notice it. He used his showstopper too, so that's now gone.
Must have been dropped extremely quickly.
I think it was he got showstoppered as he popped his.
Yeah, he did actually blast back up in the air. Yeah, true. Howdon, wrong way. Wasn't looking into the oncoming traffic. That's 3 players swinging out on B main. He doesn't even get the info that there's 3 of them there. It's the worst part. Gets shot in the back. Then you got 2 more players coming through vent, but a reposition from Meteor. He is more than ready for this, but okay, it's the right rope. It's being taken. Texture's dropped on B. Now you might start to think it's a B play, although they've just heard them on the ropes. Yeah, now you're sticking around. Meteor's here. He's ready to fight, although they'll give up control up top. It's that not only the scope, but the Blade Storm backing it up that's been activated in Heaven. And EDG, I mean, look, they're playing blind no matter where they go. But as we can see, it might be the wrong decision. Meteor's already considering the rotate.
30 seconds left.
I think we're looking at Kankan and what can he find here? He's been stellar, and that's already the star they were looking for, leading the way into the side. He doesn't know there's another man behind him. Will be taken out, but that entry does enough. Puts things into a 2v2. Meteor Blade Storm out, maybe trying to deny any sort of plant, but hasn't been able to. And the rotation coming around from Munchkin, you'd think he maybe wait a moment, but he just does it all himself! Almost disrespectful to his opponents. It's risky, but it works for Meteor.
It absolutely does. He found that space perfectly. And now that's a 12th round with this defuse coming through. It's going to be given to Munchkin.
I thought for a second, I was like, bro, you've just used your ult. You're like, I can get it again.
Yeah, I mean, look, at this stage, I don't know that either of those ultis are going to be online by the end of the game. GENG have been snowballing. And we said it was a dominant scoreline on the previous map for EDG. That was 13-8. Well, here on their map pick, it could be 13-5. And there's a lot of weaknesses coming into this round for EDG.
Well, I think you can just clearly see a confidence difference from the last map.
100%.
Like the fact that Meteor, that is a 2v2, You wouldn't be surprised for thinking it was a 1v2 because Munchkin was still making the wraparound all the way through spawn. He's like, don't worry, bro, I've won the round. Let's go next. Oh, you on the defuse? Oh, hello. That's a bit problematic for Munchkin, but he is going to be able to get out there with not too much of a scrape. Immediate. This is exactly what I'm talking about. He has Lakia in pocket to help him out here. Smokes could be gone within a second because this man is just not missing. He's now one away from Texture, by the way. Both players have been unstoppable.
Yeah, it seems like a formality with the way rounds have been going. The fact that it's a 5v3 and the amount of hero plays that would be needed from EDG to fight their way back into a 7-round in a row. A 7-round deficit. And yeah, has to be consecutive. I like the idea, sending the really slow play through middle to try to find a gap. They've not seen anyone in vents. Move towards heaven. Munchkin's in position. He's got one, and not the follow-up. But Kankan has another challenge. It's Meteor's up that's come through with a dash still online and a player sitting down below. That's Lakia, who seems to be destined to close this round out. There it is. Not just the round, but the map with it. A 13-5 statement from Gen.
3 times in a row to RRQ, Team Secret, and Loud. But according to Jen, who is obviously does a lot of the Korean translations and interviews, she said that they feel really confident on this map and in this composition in particular. So, yeah, I've leaked what she said. She can come find me if she wants. Either way,
you're not winning that fight, Tom.
I know.
I'll let you know. Just like
but I wanted
Kankan
to say it that bad that I'm happy to be beaten up.
But just like Kankan there, not winning that fight as he gets dropped on that defensive side. An aggressive push that's now left Haodong in a little bit of an isolated position. If he didn't have 2 players right behind him, it's a pretty heavy stack up on B. And after finding that opening kill in this direction, especially if they took down Haodong, they might consider just full blitzing the B site. That seems to be the plan, Tom, but there could be danger here. Still a trap on site, it gets destroyed, and the cam's gone. A lot of control. Smoggy though, with okay, never mind.
No, never mind whatsoever. That has just been a slaughter. Blink and you miss it. Every single member of the EDG side is gone, and well, that's exactly how you want to see it start if you are on that Gen G side of things. Clean, clinical. And that's the thing. Okay, it hasn't worked for them so far, this composition, but it's one I like. That you have 2 agents that can take a lot of map control. I think obviously the one sort of detriment to it is having that single initiator and not having the Cypher. That's the main worry. You can be flanked very easily. So it's something that they're going to have to definitely watch out for, but it allows for an awful lot of cool set plays.
Well, early peak. Kankan wants to get involved. Marshall out. Headshots being looked for, but no bullets landing. And the aggression from nobody has been spotted. They're anticipating it. There's not really much he can do in terms of continuing down that avenue. Gen G have been super patient in a lot of these rounds that we've seen before. Anti-ecos, anti-bonus rounds. They're always sitting back, always using their utility to clear up and then catching them on the fall back. I've really enjoyed the discipline that they've shown, especially on the last map, and it seems like it's no different here.
Yeah, I think they've definitely warmed up into this game, and you almost have to hope for EDG's sake they haven't cooled off, because we've seen a lot of different heroes throughout, especially in their Paper X game. We talk about great performances out of Haodong. I think nobody had a fantastic map of Split. But in the last map, I was basically like, how many kills can Kankan get? And if it's not at least 4, they're probably losing the round, which is not the sign you want to see. It reminds of almost EDG of old. He's the hero, and the rest of the team are just looking to try and put him into position. For this round,
30 seconds left.
Expectations incredibly low. Sure, he has a Marshal, which, given the opportunity, could do damage, but now in an afterplant, Lakia on a potential late lurk. Now, there is a bit of a gap being left, but I think Lakia has now filled that.
One enemy remaining.
And it will now just be Kankan remaining. I think they've already, well, they should have spotted the sniper. He shot a couple of bullets at them, so I don't know if anybody's going to want to feed him.
The only person I can see peeking that is Texture. The scope of his own on the Outlaw, and an advantageous fight regardless of where he hits. 45 HP. Kankan's on his way forward. Understandable. You know, he's not going to look to carry a Marshal through to the next, but the Outlaw's holding the angle, and Texture will find that one easily. 2-0 for Gen G. Not much in the way of damage done. I think it was just the pistol that was lost on mid. So altogether, a very positive start to this map for GENG.
Yeah, and that's the only kill that anybody has been actually able to get on the EDG side. So a very quiet start from them in a map that doesn't decide their fate, but it's still a scary fate to have. Like, bear in mind, okay, yeah, sure, they've managed to beat out Paperex once. There's a chance they'll face them again. You've got the likes of Loud, Heretics, like all of these teams that can come back, even maybe a little bit of chance for revenge for FPX as well. So those decider games are not going to get any easier. Getting through first time definitely has its benefits. Already quite a bit of information, both duelists being spotted outside of that A site. And considering that this is a bonus round, it has some real legs to it.
Especially in post plans here for GENG. If they can muscle their way into a site, we're gonna have the Outlaw leading the charge to take opening fights. Everybody on the side of EDG has got full shields. Of course, they saw the Outlaw last round, so you're not gonna go running into that with light shields, giving him free kills, giving him basically an AWP upgrade. Textures avoided the recon. He's in a good position. If anyone does go for that peek just to grab a little bit of info, they'll be in a lot of trouble, but the poison orb's up, and that should keep them back.
Yeah, they've got the information that they are still here. It's the split into middle that could definitely make things a little bit more interesting. Trying to almost bait with the shots out, and they haven't actually seen it. Already first duel going their way, but nice work from Howdong. Smoggy as well, combining. Desperately low on HP, but they've managed to weather the storm, hold them back that little bit longer. Leaving just 2 players remaining. Make it 1. It is a clean sweep. Only nobody lost, which sounds mental as a sentence.
Yeah.
And EDG, well, after a single kill in the first 2 rounds, they do quite well in the first buy.
Yep, a very well-held push on the side. I mean, this is what I'm saying for GENG. Actually breaking through, I think, is the problem in this round, short of any over-peaks out of the side of EDG, but they were patient. They took their time, and they certainly managed to reap the rewards for that. Now, coming into round number 4, I'm a little concerned. Meteor has an ulti online, and it's going to be pulled right away. Into another dimension he goes. He's got to fall back, so he's left his gate crash in towards A main, clearing out this like a recon.
Look how far back they've gone.
And yeah, I mean, they've made the right call rather than being blitzed on. Karen has such a good angle for the rotate through. There's no way Chichu could have expected that.
Yeah, it's the orchestrator, the conductor from the back, and the gun barrel spotted. The start from Texture is going to make it so much more problematic. Clearing out these players from the back line is going to be impossible. Bear in mind, they've got snakebite lineups. They could use a gravity well, but I don't think they're even going to need it. Picking this team apart, Smoggy at least has found one, but here comes those lineups. Anybody even gets close to that spike, and they've already spotted both players. Meteor's blinded himself, but it doesn't even matter. And now the Grabwell's also caught out Smoggy. A clean take from GENG with slightly comical close to it, but
yeah,
they won't mind.
Yeah, I've never seen a man look so lost in my life. Meteor today, he didn't know where he was. That was the blind. He sees a player close. He has to run out of the smoke rather than get shot in the head. Ends up getting blinded himself. It was beautiful. It must be so confusing for Munchkin to step into that scenario, seeing them back to back. I think they were shooting for a James Bond poster. 3-1. GENG in a prime position, Bladestorm online, not needed, with full rifles in play for that attacking side, and EDG having next to nothing to work with, just some pistols. I see the clock frozen on the top. I have to almost think this is a timeout from EDG. This early on, you don't want GENG to be just storming.
And you almost have to play into that aggressive nature. You have to try and, well, as GB would say, punch him in the face. You have to get up close and personal, and GENG are just so good at denying that.
Well, this is it. We've seen so many rounds where they just pump the brakes right off rip, play it super slow. Early on here, I'm not sure what Meteor just did. Maybe popping a flash through A main, then TPing right over to B for a much quicker pace take to keep these players in position on A. Perhaps even grab the rotates over, but one man is still here. Standing his ground. Well, not anymore. Chichu's not standing at all. Good shot from nobody, and an angle lined up, but Meteor was ready for it.
Yeah, this round looking done already. Smoggy He's going to get his ult online no matter what happens here. Well, unless he goes down to the spike, but I don't think that's going to happen. But the thing is, GENG are just giving them nothing. Every once in a while, someone goes for a slight jiggle peek, but they're just so passive in their spots. Ratty angles being held as well. Okay, sure, as said, you've got players like Meteor who just want to try and farm up as many orbs as possible, but again, that's another player round with 4 players alive. There's been barely anything to talk about in terms of EDG. The finances already off the charts for GENG. If they wanted to throw in an operator, they could comfortably on pretty much every single player. And this now has to be a response, because right now this is looking like a deflated EDG. This is not the team that we were singing the praises about in map 1. Even KonKon at the moment is missing.
Yeah, and that's coming out of a pause as well, right? Like, this has got to be somewhere that you've had your coaching staff come in, like your IGL's trying to pull it through, you call that pause, you touch base with your coaching staff, and you're right back into the fray. For GENG, I mean, look, it's plain sailing. It's a breeze right now. EDG need to get back on that horse. And we've seen a couple different approaches that GENG have shut down each time. This time, though, late aggression on the back of a flash. It did catch one of them, but the other sneaks into the corner, and that'll be aggressive A information for them with a rotate coming through, but the dash was heard. They know KonKon is coming around this angle. 2 players are lined up, ready to punish, and that was because of Texture being up here in the tube, being able to hear that. Perfect comms.
Again, no success for KonKon in his aggression. When they played this map versus FPX to qualify, he was one of the only reasons they were even in the map. Like, he was so aggressive but successful with it. And right now, that just isn't the case. Again, they've sold a ruse, trying to keep a couple of players, but right now it's still split. A solo defender in the form of Haodong, and just look at his HP. He's already low. He's about to come under some serious pressure, and at least support has began to rotate in. Smoggy actually pushing into his own util to try and just get anything there, and it's so easy. They are making this look like a walk in the park, or maybe a walk along the beach. Finally, there's been a response, but just look at where the players are. The afterplant will again ensue. The rats will go back into their corners. There's no hope.
Yeah, this is a very strange position to find ourselves in, considering how we started this series out, Tom. I thought we were in for a quick day, and, well, it might be 3 maps, but with the way things are going, it could be in the runtime of 2. 13-8, 13-5, and GENG now leading 5-1. The question, how many rifles can EDG carry through to the next round? Already one is spotted towards the elbow, and there's the crunch coming in from Meteor. He gets one, and there's more players on the way.
Where do you go?
They're willing to commit. They're boxing him in. Chichu knows his only chance is to come out swinging to try and take the fight before they pincer him. Unfortunately, nothing is found. Rifles are dropped, and EDG, it's not just their economy that's in the bin, it should also be their mental. This is a really tough position to play from.
Yeah, they're so prepared for everything that they want to do. KonKon's initial aggression, I think he's actually caught by his own teammate's flash initially, so unable to find anything on the peak. The push into middle, also, they're just waiting. They're ready, and the second he's dead, it does just look like, okay, now they can go for their executes. They get rid of the real danger. And the only round that they've won so far on the EDG side was purely based of Smoggy managing to get a multi-frag on the site. Again, the ult's being farmed up. Meteor 1 away, Munchkin 1 away. They've got a couple of marshals to play with in this round, though. Maybe can try and do a little bit of damage, but that's all the optimism I have left.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of damage. Look at their economy on GENG. Yeah. It's not going to do anything, like, short of them being able to completely break open this attacking side in the coming rounds. Good shot by Smoggy. That's Texture down already. Some economy damage. But we need to see a lot of rifles dropped, and really, we're looking for a round win for EDG every
this could be big.
time they run it. Nice position. Oh, no!
He puts his gun away! And instead, oh, it's a little bit late, but it still works out for Karen. There was a chance that he gets picked off, but that luck was filthy. And again, look, they're just going to use the Cosmic Divide, get themselves the afterplant. And do I believe there's any hope in the afterplant? Maybe. They've at least eliminated one of the players, but I don't think they realize just yet where everything's going down.
Yeah, just look up in the sky, see that Cosmic Divide, that'll give it away. But they were looking to clear out any lurkers around. No one to be found. Rifles potentially retrievable. Something. But if you're on EDG right now, the real concern is Smoggy and Haodong being so low. A bullet, all that's needed to take down the final player, and it is delivered easily. That one didn't really seem under threat. Was GENG tighten their hold on this map and on this series with a 6-1 lead. The one saving grace, Tom, is that EDG have 4 ultimates coming into the next round, and they've called a timeout, and they'll be full bot. If ever they were going to put another round on the board, this is really where you want to see it.
Yeah, not bad ultimates for a retake as well, because that has been their major problem. Just look at the deaths. It's not something I say too often, but look at the deaths over on GENG. Munchkin
off. GENG could be on 7 when we leave this one. As I said, EDG have 4 ultis to play with. Bit of a concern though, with the retakes constantly needing to be played on A, with an ult for Meteor that we've seen used before to just clear this site out, get them on there, and get the plant in. And then if it's Munchkin planting, that's the Viper's Pit. If he takes the orb, that's the Viper's Pit, and a really tough way back through. We're going for a Hunter's Fury, blind as a bat. And unfortunately, it's not found anything. With the orb retrieved, here comes the Pit to cover the plant. Now you don't have that Hunter's Fury to clear your way back through. The null command, it's not in on time, and there's not really a lot of coordination for EDG right now. They're still covering out some of this map. It looks like they want to go forward. There's a flank on the way from Karen. There's really not a lot going for this defensive side, even though it's a 5v4. The odds are stacked against them.
Yeah, so much needs to happen, and I don't even know if they're going to get anything again! Khan got caught with no gun in hand, and Karen is just doing so much damage, devastation. Smoggy at least, it's just exit kills, padding the stats because the round's already over. GENG are running a clinic over on EDG. The team that didn't fear GENG are just getting ruined by them.
How many times have we seen a knife be pulled out? And that's the second that somebody peeks the angle. It's like a calling card. They're beckoning them in. It's just so unbelievable. Like we mentioned the flank, but I didn't expect that level of impact.
Well, the funny thing as well is, at that point the round was already over.
They were going for a save, right?
They weren't looking to actually fight back into it, but they're just not prepared for these players to be around. And that's the thing, they're running the comp with more information. Yeah. They're running the one with the double initiator, with the Cypher, and they're the ones that end up looking like fools in almost every single round. The fact is, I'll be honest, I've kind of forgot they even had a Cypher at this point. Like, I just don't think that Chichu has been able to find anything, and it's gonna get one for free. Finally, Munchkin's died, by the way. I think that's only death number 2.
What? Really?
He's been.
I hadn't even copped that.
I think he was 7-1, unless he died last round as well, but even still, he's barely died. But the Viper's Pit was online until right at the end, so yeah, I think that was literally his 2nd death.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous. I mean,
and I think Karam will only be on like maybe 3.
The thing is, the trade that they get there, Munchkin falling, it is big. It is removing a lot of the utility that gets them out to sight. Problem is, it was Khan dropped on the other side. That's your entry. Haodong tries to fill the role, and he's shut down immediately. Lackey is caught in the corner, though, trapped in there, and the big iron takes him down. Back up. Well, the first shot doesn't hit. But Meteor's most certainly does. They don't know that there's a player sitting on the site. Smoggy has a chance, but I think he just broke the gate crash, so now the info will be there that there is still someone sitting around. There's going to be a bodyguard on the planter, so no chance to deny it. And the real hope, okay, well, that was actually a good chance. Some damage done. The eyes focused forward. Good flash. A good punish. Even though Chichu catches one from behind, he's going to swing straight into this op. I like the cage. Great use of it. Great swing. Oh, but he doesn't hit the kill shot. 55 HP, but that's enough for Texture to still be able to duel. And with Meteor coming around the other side, I don't see a lot of ways this goes for Chichu. He needs to be quick, clean, and clinical. Good shot, good correction as well. Meteor forced back, and the defuse is underway. No utility for the Yoru. It's gonna be a drive peek, and it's worked out again for GENG. One of the closer rounds for EDG, but again they lose, and 8-1 we go. It doesn't seem like there's any safe haven for the defenders.
No, that was one of the best opportunities for them. A few pieces of individual brilliance, an aggressive push, some team play that worked out, but they met Meteor at the end. and they went extinct. 11 and 4 for him, but there hasn't been a weak link. That's been the major issue. GENG have peaked at the perfect moment, as they have done versus most of their opponents throughout this game.
Well, time to lock and load. Go again. For EDG, they probably would have called a timeout coming into this round if they still had one, but they've burned them up. They're on their own now.
I cannot use that.
All on their lonely, just like the round count. Viper's Pit online for the defenders. The way back through, that could help. You see a retake wall on B. One that lets them get close from middle and then pop.
No!
He's out. Okay, cool. Oh, no, he's not. Oh, he's been hunted. Oh my God, the damage is huge.
That's one of the best Hunter Furies I've ever seen. They just tagged both. That's ridiculous from Luckier. After a first map to forget, he has been fantastic ever since. Back with a vengeance.
And look who it is they killed, Tom. That's your Viper's Pit, down and out of the round. No way back through for them now.
Spike planted.
Well, nobody's going to try. He's got some support, but again, there's a smoke to deny them a Meteor in an aggressive position. Just doesn't seem to be missing a beat. Stolen away by Karen in the end, but 9-1. Whether you predicted the first and the second map, I think you're a bit crazy if you did. But if you thought this is how map number 3 was going to go, props to you. And how is it living in Korea?
This is just so disgusting. Was there... Am I mistaken in saying that there was nothing to give away that player's position? That was a blind fire to Hunter's Fury, right? He's pulled back the bow.
They're both doing it.
3 pulls of the bow, and every single one hit their mark. Bullseye after bullseye. 9-1. GENG are absolutely stealing this series away. They got dominated on their map pick, and then they showed up. They've only given 6 rounds on the last map in this one. Explain that one.
Fake
Either way. The drone's going to give a little bit of info. It really is a bleak reality for EDG right now. We saw on the player cams real frustration for Concom, because it is rare, no matter who you are, that you shut this man out completely, but that has been the story thus far. Even being played with by an opponent. You can see just trying to make this awkward, try and make this confusing, and there's Texture. Even still though, Kankan has managed to take him down. A trade, which I'll be honest, so far has been unusual. A deep mid position from nobody, but looks away. Just as they make the cross, the entire team comes out, and then Kankan peeks into the lot of them. He has had a cursed game so far. Finally, we see there's a Cypher.
He got a tag, Tom! He got a tag!
It's because they're finally going B. That doesn't happen very often. It doesn't matter, though. They're still losing every single fight ahead of them. Chichu probably gobsmacked that they've actually entered into the B site. I don't know where he's hoping to go here. They're so ready for it. He does at least manage to drop the player planting, but it's after they've already planted. And while just as every other round goes, it is 10-1. Ridiculous.
I don't even remember what round EDG won, to be honest. This has been the most...
It was the round where Smoggy got, I think it was 3 kills on the back of the site.
You're right. Yeah, it was the pyramid play.
I remember
Flash
it
up top.
because it's the only thing that's
It's the only thing that's happened. Like, you could study this. You could watch this back again and again. Icebox.
Oh, look what they're buying. Look at what they're buying.
Stop it.
Look at what they're buying.
It's the last round of the half.
Look at what
they've got backup weapons.
Look at what they're doing.
They've got backup weapons for days and 3
This is the Concom waiting angle.
What?
Where does he peek? Does he peek A main? Does he peek into middle? That's where Concom is. They're waiting for it. This is so disgusting. They know it's coming as well.
Oh no, they know where Texture is. What a disaster. Blade Storm used as well. Upshot fires out. It was Munchkin letting loose on that shot, swapping the weapon over for a Phantom, and they're still keeping the 3. It's just juggled around. Now it's Lakia who's going to be your opper. I don't know how they're running this. You know, you take 1 shot, then you juggle it over, right? That's your chance gone. Now it's someone else's turn.
Already gone. They're already dropping them.
Oh no. Poor form, but they do have to make a play eventually. 50 seconds left on the clock. It's time to push forward. Hey, 2 ops on attack. It's still pretty good. Still pretty unique.
Oh, Meteor taking space. There hasn't been a battle or a brawl in this round. EDG have played a little bit more passive. It doesn't make a damn difference. They're being battered. Kankan again tries to be the hero, but this time and every time he has been shut down. Haodong, Chichu. Well, there's nothing they could do. A nice shot at least. He'll know where they are. But knowing and doing anything about it is going to be another thing altogether. The plant not the safest, but that's cover. They didn't even need the plant in the end. It is 11-1 scoreline. The most dominant half we've seen so far in the tournament.
Yep.
And it will have to be an even more dominant one if they're going to turn this around.
Yeah, fair play if anybody can beat that moving forward in the event. I'm not expecting to see a much better half than this on any map. Absolutely gobsmacked by this attacking side of GENG. 11 rounds, an EDG that came in the start of the day looking like favorites.
They are looking unstoppable. A chance for the first time in their history, not only making it to a Masters, but making it to a Masters playoffs. For a lot of these players, that was a dream that may never have come. And with a roster that many wouldn't have expected to be this damn good, they are just 2 rounds away from making that history and being, well, maybe even one of the favorites to take the crown. Still, the players up against them are not ones that you can be foolish, that you can give chances to, and they have struggled on this defensive time before. EDG clearly not giving up just yet, but this man in pistol rounds is devastating as ever. The lurking Karen is all that remains. Watch your flank.
It's a trap here as well. Just gets caught by that. There's the info to play with. It would be a legendary comeback. Kankan using Fnatic's pistol. He'll have to channel some of that energy and then some.
Yeah, you need more than that.
Well, it's a mini victory, so to speak, for EDG. 11-2. They've doubled their rounds here with the pistol win. That's, yeah, that pretty much summarizes this game so far. It's been tough.
But that was the thing. We saw that comeback happen because of a fantastic tactical pause.
Do you reckon they'll have one, Tom?
No, not until overtime at least. They've got to do it on their own. The coaches, they mentioned it. I think it was Chichu in the interview we saw earlier. How much they think the coaches really impact them. How much they lead by example while they're silenced. You're going to have to rely, well, either on their opponents eventually taking one. I guess that will be the real possibility. Even still, though, Texture going for a little bit of an investment here. Other than that, not a whole lot to play with. And, of course, you don't really expect any players to be saving too much here for the side of EDG because you can't afford to play a bonus round in the next.
Part of me sees this as a GENG round, but how things have been going. Texture's dealt with, though. And now my odds are switching up a little bit. EDG have site control. Man advantage ×3. And, well, it looks like GENG will fall flat in this eco round. 1 kill for Lakia. And we're at the stage with 2 rounds needed for GENG. I don't really care how much damage they do.
Right-click that.
They can make this a bit more costly. And for Munchkin, he's picked up a Sheriff. He's close to the spike. There's a couple players getting close to ultis. It's 11-2, though. He can do what he likes. Probably just going down to the spike.
Yeah, to be honest, they've had so many plays that have been based off confidence. I wouldn't even mind too much if he tried to just do some damage. They have such a ridiculous lead, but clearly just wanting to make sure that they don't give any of those orbs over to, well, Kankan, Haodong, and instead we'll just go down to the spike. Now, I fully expect that any weaker weaponry here for EDG is just upgraded. You can't be playing a bonus round here. You are too far behind. If you allow them to get to 12, you're playing for overtime, and we are at least seeing rifles purchased up. It's still not going to be the best of buys, though. That's the thing. I think an Outlaw's been purchased in the place of a Marshal. That's a slight upgrade at least, and it will still allow them to buy into the next round, but even with the slight weaknesses, EDG need to win this.
Well, EDG have 3 rounds, and Munchkin has 3 deaths. It's been a pretty strong game for GENG so far, and now the rifles come out. As you said, EDG have some upgrades, but there's no such thing as, oh, well, we lost the bonus, it's all good. No. You gotta win that bonus, and nobody's off to a flying start with Karen already down and out. GENG's numbers thin out, and the A site, well, you see, with the wall already up, I think they're gonna wait for another pulse. The wall goes down, Kankan might have an opportunity to spray away. Good spray through, it's dealing some damage. Texture's forced back, caught by nobody. This is a good look for the side of EDG, trading out one after another. We said they needed to win this bonus, and it looks like they've got it locked down, but Meteor has a free kill, and it's been left to a 1v2. Very winnable for Meteor. TP, I love this. I don't know if he's gonna commit. I imagine it's a fake for info, and then he can sneak his way through to the site, but let's see.
Both players sat back. He does take the TP. It's being watched by Kankan. Both players around this angle. It would have to be a mistake at this stage, and even Kankan, one of the most confident players, decides it's not worth it. Smart stuff from EDG, not going to overextend, and this is the exact start they needed to start what will be one of the most ridiculous comebacks of all time. Still, I don't think until we get to 8 or 9 rounds I'm even going to start thinking about what could be on the cards. And you can see the confidence that's there. Like, that push from Karen is ludicrous. It just goes walking out.
Night-night.
But you can kind of understand it at this point when you won that many rounds in a row.
You only needed to work once for GENG. They can throw out a couple of those curveballs. Now, here's the interesting thing. 11-4. A huge lead for GENG.
So create the calm. Use your pauses for that. It might even just be a small talk of like, okay, let's calm down. We're not done. We're not through yet. And I don't mind it.
Well, yeah, when you've got a lead like that, you see your players playing loose. I can also understand just calling that timeout to say, yeah, everybody calm down. Let's play the game. Let's just close it out. We're not here to give EDG a way back in. And if you do, well, they will certainly take it. Yeah. Big lead for GENG. Defensive side, couple of investments, but nothing huge. Mostly Sheriffs, a Marshal, and a Bucky to back them up. For GENG, I mean, sometimes you'll see these rounds where you group up, try to play the numbers, but it's such a big map. It's not really a gamble they want to take. Instead, just playing defaults and hoping they can pop off individually. I think really they're just thinking about the next round.
Well, I'm definitely intrigued by a Bucky on Breeze. I'm not sure it's something that will necessarily be expected, but when you have that extra controller in the form of Karen, you can create little pockets for someone like Lakia to play. And as said, his resurgence in this series has been fantastic. And his resurgence in the scene in general. He had to go through being slightly trapped to a one-map player to being trapped in the tier 2. And now he's been shot in the face. I was optimistic. One of those plays you never really expected to work. Meteor, though, still making things interesting.
One enemy remaining.
But he will fall as well. Munchkin a little bit out of the action. Looking to keep the rounds to deaths ratio the same. Although he did technically die to the spike, which doesn't come up on the scoreboard.
Okay.
If we're being pedantic,
He's died a few more times. But for EDG, 13-5 on last map. Pushing up to 5 here. Full buy for GENG next. Deja Vu starts to ring true, but the attacking side has had a good run of things in this round, at least. Damage is very minimal. Nobody and Haodong both extremely low to the Sheriff. They're just going for the exit towards the spawn. Yeah, well, Munchkin might not die to the spike. It depends how quickly he pushes out here. Still being watched on the cross, but he finds a nice, safe corner to go down to it. So he'll still be able to buy in the next. 11-5. EDG on their way, but still a long distance left to go. It's worth mentioning, Lakia, well, he's 13-9 right now, 3 assists. He was 3 kills, 18 deaths, 1 assist on map 1. I mean, it was an abysmal map for him on Icebox, but Split and Breeze, he's back in the game.
Well, it still seems like it was the closest map so far, which kind of says how things were going elsewhere, but there we go. 11-5. EDG starting to bridge the gap, and that's one hell of a way to kick off the buy round. I said there's always a worry If this man starts gaining confidence, well, it doesn't get any better than that.
1 shot, 2 kills. GENG left to rely on a very scattered hold. Look at the minimap. You can see those defenders are going to have big performances when the push comes down. And it looks like EDG want to shove into the A site. This is Texture's opportunity. The drone could clear him, or at least keep him behind this Viper wall as it's about to go up and the push to come through. Texture, no dash. He's being silenced, suppressed, but he still fires back. 23 HP though, and the players are quickly circling him, encircling him, I should say, and finally taking him down. Munchkin and Karen to do it all. Nice shot by Karen. There's an opportunity. If he can buy some time, the flank will catch another off guard, and now it's winnable again. GENG has suddenly found legs in the round, but a snake fight in hand leads to Munchkin's death. Karen has to clutch this alone. He's keeping his opponent behind the pyramid, but nobody jumps up top to take him down. A 6th for EDG. The gap down to 5. It's not quite manageable yet, but this attack side is really picking up some momentum.
Somehow, Con is only 3 kills away from being top fragger. I don't know how that's a thing.
They're throwing the op off the map. They did. They threw it right off the map. I guess because Con has the Blade Storm, he's going to use that for what could be a much quicker round.
Yeah, I guess attempting something a little bit more explosive. Blade Storm available on the other side as well. But yeah, I guess maybe the surprise factor of that operator now being gone. It's not like they don't have the finances for it.
Right here.
You can see the patience. Interesting, actually, considering how passive they're holding in this round at the moment. I feel like that operator could have had some value. They're going to remove the cam with a shock dart. Chichu now looks to reclaim that control, something that was given up earlier in the round, and it looks like they might be about to use Kankan as a bit of a sledgehammer. Information going to be found, though. Already clearing out A main, and I don't know if he's going to get far enough. Might be able to spot some of the players in mid. That would be huge. He has. He's seen that they're still passively waiting. Will TP back to the site, but it means that they're not going to pull any early rotations just yet. In fact, though, EDG are going to use that as a move towards B.
Cage up from Chichu as well. He's making his way around mid for the lurk. The rest of the players need to break through the B site. Viper utility to block them on the retake, but the fight is taken instead. Munchkin blinded up completely, but Con can't get it done with Karen on the side. 3 kills quickly found, and even the Blade Storm frag on the flanker. Easy peasy for GENG. They had a real handle on this round from the get-go, and 12-6. 1 more needed for GENG. 6 chances to pull it across the line, and I am amazed by what we've seen in these last 2 maps. This GENG squad, I don't know if they need to play a 1-map scrim before their next series, but they are just I would, if this was online, I'd say it's 5 different players, Tom.
Well, that is the thing. You look at their last few series, it does kind of feel like that. They always seem to lose one, except for an overtime victory for a 2-0 versus DRX. But that's also just something to talk about. The teams they're going through, it's not like they've had an easy route. You can't sit there and go, oh, you know, they beat one of the weaker teams in their region. They beat DRX, they beat PaperX, they've beaten Loud. These are teams that have all been within top 4 at international events. Now they look to beat the China #1, a team again who's been in the playoffs before, and this time it's looking like it might be theirs. Just 2 kills away from creating history for their organization within Valorant. And it's looked like it is done and dusted. GENG will be the 2nd team to make it through to the playoffs.